The market for that, Charles Moon is joining us. He's a strategist at Prosper Trading Academy. Charles, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us, and I want you to correct me if my intro to you was incorrect. The reason for the downdraft today in the markets is what?
It's really what Larry Kudlow had said earlier this morning, and you can see how sharply the market reacted in terms of his actual statement hitting the wire. And it was the quote sizable. The sizable was, I guess, the key factor. Distance that the U.S. and China has on a potential deal. Now, news has also hit that, they don't think a deal will happen by the March, I guess, 1st deadline. But I think where the streets kind of got thrown off was the ideology of sizable, because for me, I was led to believe that they were working towards a deal. There were positive talks. They were taking the proper steps, and the markets reacted in accordance. They were starting to price in that potential deal coming into play. So when Larry Kudlow actually came out and said that they were really far apart in terms of quote-unquote sizable, it kind of shook things up, and of course we saw that risk-off move take place in the overall markets here.
But Charles, what's interesting as well is we're off the lows of the day. So what are investors really thinking about, and why are we off the lows of the day?
Yeah, great question. I still believe that a deal will be made. There's no rush on the U.S. end per se. It's been evident and clear that China's way more dependent on this trade deal than we are. They're going to be the biggest factor. It's going to weigh the greatest on their economy. Yes, it'll be a big boom for us too, but it's more that China needs us than we need China. And so, of course, they are going to be very motivated in seeing an actual deal take place. President Trump is very motivated in holding his line. He's pretty much drawn the line in the sand, and it says, you either step over and then we could agree to a deal, or we could just continue to have this, little standoff here. And, I understand that the government shutdown is looming. Nancy Pelosi came out yesterday and said that there are some, bipartisan talks. They're going to hopefully have something ready by Friday and have it on, President Trump's desk by then. Whether he signs off on it is another story, but ultimately it seems that both sides of both parties want an actual deal, and they don't want to see the government shut down.
Charles, we only have about a minute left, but when you take a look at some of the names that are trading today, Twitter's obviously front and center for a lot of people. What about Facebook as well? What are you seeing in these social media companies?
So, what was really good to see in terms of Facebook was their actual metrics in terms of numbers, sales, DAW, MAWs, and you can see how responsive the stock has been. Twitter, it was a bit disappointing, but again, they're trying to restructure. The big thing was that they were trying to kill all these spam bots and these spam accounts. A lot of the bigger Twitter users with huge followers have been commenting over the last month how they've been drastically seeing their usership go down, and it's not a surprise. However, the way that I approach Twitter is more of a long-term light. I believe that they finally got themselves restructured properly. It helps that we have a president that loves Twitter and that is active on Twitter, that has drawn a lot of new users. Their MAWs weren't really terrible, all things considered. I actually look at Twitter as a positive. I'm a big fan of Jack Dorsey. I know a lot of people aren't, and I initially wasn't, but I see how he's restructured. I'm starting to see his vision. They're starting to, realign themselves to generate a lot more ad revenue income here, and I think we may see, 3 quarters from now, a completely different story with Twitter.
Okay, we got to leave it there. Charles, good to see you. Thank you.